Alright, somebody made a complaint about my videos. They wanted to compare knuckle cranks to each other and do a comparison video of how crappy they are, how good they are. And I told them, just go watch the playlist. You got a 47 knuckle and you got a 46 knuckle motor. They're both in there. What's it matter which one looks like to each other? So basically, we have a V-twin special over there made in Taiwan. And you got an S&S crank over here, supposedly USA made. Not sure about that. Machined here probably, but not made here. There's only one foundry in the US, so used to making parts these days. So anyway, these ones we know they made the pinion shaft wrong. You never put a taper center. You never put a center end of a thread. That's stupid. So I know that's made wrong. I know the rods had a rounder, straighter hole than the S&S crank. I know that the assembly, this one's without a true more than the S&S crank was. That one was truer. The material here is just some casted crap, probably. I don't think this stuff is forged. It's probably just cast steel. So it's not exactly the world's strongest material. This here is forged material. See how the grain structure is a little coarser and the machining is nice and shiny versus nice and rough like cast iron. So this is cast steel. This is forged steel. So this is definitely way stronger material than that crap over there. So yeah, that's a lot better off the bat. The shafts and stuff, I don't know. Looks nice and smooth. Looks like better threads. This one here looks okay though. Looks like good quality to me. I didn't measure it, so I don't know. Quality machining does not tell you anything else. So does that say Jim's on the end of it, or does it say S&S on the end of it? I have to watch the video. I can't see. So anyway, these both look like they're adequately made. All I know is the Eastern stuff was not as good as machining, and it liked to fall off. Because they overheat treated stuff, and the stuff would break off, fall off. Minor problem. Of course, that was back in the 80s and 90s, which I don't forget. They wouldn't do anything about it, so screw them. Once they make bad product, why would they ever change? These here are S&S's latest design. So, got all kinds of fancy part numbers. They think making this side heavier is going to make it balance better and make it not shake as much. They're full of crap. But whatever, they got a good theory. These are pretty good rods, easy, pretty strong, pretty stout. They make them big and chunky, which they don't really need to, but that's how they make them these days. These ones here, I'm assuming these are forged, but who knows. The machining looks good, so it's not like over here where it's casted crap. So these are forged. But once again, the material and the heat treat and quality of machine manufacture, that's all different. So these ones I know are pretty damn strong. These ones over here, if it's like all the other replacement ones, they're weak. You twist them, they stay bent. You twist these, they spring back. So they're heat treated. So that's all I know. So balance factor wise, we don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a flywheel. We'll do the left one on both of these. How's that? This one here, they got two big ass holes. I don't like drilling all the way through. Bad design doing that crap. This one here, they went all the way through. You can see it makes a dimple. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a balancing weight over here. One of my generic ones. That's a heavy duty one right there. 5,000 RPM, that's the one I use for everything. Okay, then we got a new 5,000 RPM one here, which I think is lighter than that one. This one here is, what's this one for? This is for 80 inch. This is the old one. Let's see, looks like about the same weight. This one's a little heavier. So this, my dad made this for 80-inch connecting rods because they're more chunky like the S&S rods up on top. So it looks like he's got another 40 grams added into them. These days I use this one because it's a little bit lighter, brings the percentage down a little bit. Now percentage wise, you can run them at 50%. Theoretically that's the only thing that works. Don't put that in that bike, it'll shake your teeth out. That bike I run 70%. It's nice and smooth at 7,500 RPM where I run it at. Now if you're going to run your bike down at 3,000 RPM, you might want 50%, I don't know. At the old shop I worked at, we used 52%. They shook too. The S&S claims 60% on everything they do. They are lying through their teeth. It's more like 55, 56. The my weight here, this one, last time I checked on some lighter components, it was about 62%. It's supposed to be at 60. Don't know. This one here is going to be a little bit heavier. If you have a heavier rod than this one you would use. So if you're going to use an H-beam rod, I would definitely balance it with this one, not the lighter I-beam rods. Usually the I-beams are lighter. So it's kind of a pig in a poke. Balancing is kind of a semi-joke because what are you balancing? It's a variable number and each cylinder is different. And it's a Harley. It's never going to be in balance. It's always going to shake between 3,000 and 3,500, especially 32, 3,300. I don't care what you do, it's going to shake there. You can make it shake less or more at any other RPM by balance factor. The biggest thing you do about making a bike run true or run smooth is true the damn crank up. When they come in at 3 to 4 thou out of whack, they're going to shake. When that one comes in at, what was that one, 2 thou out, I think, that's going to be a lot smoother than this one than when it came in at, you know, 4 thou or whatever it was out of whack. So when you take this big heavy 30-pound piece of crap here and move it out 4 thou and multiply by RPM, it starts making a difference. So trueness is always more important than balance. Balance is a joke because balancing changes with RPM. Period. It's not a balanced, it's not a naturally balanced motor. Now, other weights I use, I have a Sportster weight. This is the one I use on my KR bike, which has super light rods and super light pistons. And this is 1,200 grams. That is 70% on my KR. This one here is for a Sportster. They're a lot lighter. Light motor. This one here is for a high RPM, big ass heavy forged pistons, the old way S&S made parts. This is the big heaviest one. That's the heaviest one. So you got that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Okay, we got a selection going here. Now if I want to make a custom weight, this is for twin cam press-in cranks. This one here is for tapered cranks, like these. Custom weights. This one here is for my single. What's that one? A little lighter. This was my 500, 650. I got 650 on this now. So this is super lightweight. The reason it's so much lighter than all these other ones is because it only has one of everything going up and down, not two. So you take off one piston assembly off and one rod. That's why it's a lot lighter. But it's still heavy. If you add these two numbers up, if you add 750 together, you get 1,500. This one here is 1,300. This is a heavy ass one. This is 1,500. That's because it balances out for one crank pin assembly in there. It's also balanced for a lot higher RPM. So anyway, that's how you do it. And I got some older stuff in here. These are for old flathead 80s and early knucklehead stuff. Step pin, see the different taper size. So this is a 5,000 RPM weight for one of those. And you notice the same weight as this one here. Same weight. It's different. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our flywheel right here. We're going to stick it in the lathe. And we're going to see what we got. Alright, I'm going to get that set up. We'll be back.